It's going. Yay! Hello, world. There's two of me because the microphone on my computer isn't working. I could just turn off the camera on the computer too, but we've decided this double screen thing is amusing.
It's much more fun that way.
Yeah. So we can watch me eat in two different angles. It's dinner time in my world.
It's like the Food Network.
Yeah, it's the Food Network. We're going to be reading Harry Potter from the perspective of food, and we're going to talk about food in Harry Potter. And this whole thing is taking a new direction. Nobody needs feminism, social justice, any of that. We're going to talk about food, and how food is delicious.
Oh, that's right.
It's perfect. No, we're going to talk about and Harry Potter and justice type things.
Yes.
So, you can also see my book now because this angle is different. You can see my book is upside down. My book is plain. I took my cover off. Okay. So, let's get started with chapter 16, Through the Trapdoor.
Yes.
Harry Potter. Would you like to just start with the questions that I had in the doc, or did you have...
I think that's a great starting place.
Okay. And I also shared this in the group, but I don't think we got any feedback from people this week. Why do I have a notification? Is this Catherine related? No, it's not. It's Dutch related. I don't need those things. Okay. So that is not the tab that has the questions. That is the tab that has the tab that has the questions. Compare and contrast the chapter with the portrayal in the film. According to the book's narrative, how would you describe heroism? Oh, my battery's dying on my phone. I should deal with that. That's not a good thing. I'm going to play it in a moment. According to the book's narrative, how would you describe heroism? And according to the movie's narrative, so in the book, Harry initially intends to go through the chapter on his own, but Ron and Hermione insist on coming to help up until the chess match, and to some extent even including the chess match, though Ron leads on that. All three contribute equally as a team to completing each task. Why is this important, and how does this compare to the film portrayal, and which narrative is better in respect towards its ability to positively influence society? So there were a lot of questions in that.
That is a lot of questions in one question.
How would you describe heroism, comparing the book and the movie, just based on the narratives they present? Do you have thoughts on this?
I don't know. I think I haven't watched the movie in a really, really long time. So I may be totally and completely wrong on this, but I think in the movie they didn't go into it knowing as much. Am I wrong there?
Like what do you not know?
No, I guess not. I guess they knew the same amount.
I don't think they really knew anything in the books.
They really didn't know anything. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure if it is different between the two of them.
I think one of the things that I noticed, which is why I even wrote this question as a thing to think about, was that the way that they complete the tasks in the books versus in the movies, and it gets more into this in the next question, and I kind of alluded to this in the group, but in the books, they're going through as a team and they're working together, and there's no oh, Ron's or Harry's the big hero and Hermione and Ron just have or so in the movies they fall into the devil's snare, and they're in the devil's snare, and in the movies Ron and Harry are just freaking out and panicking, and Hermione's I got this, guys, just relax, and she slips through and she's like, what's wrong with you can't relax? and then she does like a perfect, amazing blast of light and destroys the entire thing. Which in the books, for people who haven't just read them, Hermione quickly figures out what it is and moves out of the way, so she's not in the Devil's Snare. But then she has no idea how to get them out.
Yeah, because she's like freaking out, and then Ron's like, "Hey, you're a witch. You have like magic."
So she's like, Devil's Snare. What does she say? Even before, I think Harry also helped. She start a fire or something. Like, she's like, Devil's Snare doesn't like the light, or... Oh, I gotta go way farther.
Devil's snare. What did Professor Sprout say? It likes the dark and damp, and then Harry says, "So light a fire."
Yeah,
she says, "Yes, of course, but there's no wood."
Ron's great line. Have you gone word replacing mad or crazy, because that's ableist? Are you a witch or not? So, like, even just that one scene, Ron and Harry have contributions to that. I mean, Hermione might not have figured out how to... I mean, she got out of the Devil's Snare, but she wasn't going to get them out.
No, they were going to be dead.
They weren't just helpless little damsels in distress for Hermione to save.
Yeah. There's that whole making Hermione a superwoman again, and taking away all of her flaws.
Yeah.
And I hate that they felt like they had to do that to make her a strong female character.
Yeah, no, she could have been complex and have some flaws and still have been a good character. Yeah, that's one of the things that stuck out to me about the differences in the narratives. And then what do they do next? Oh, and even I forgot about this, but when they go to get the keys, all three of them get on broomsticks, and Harry has Ron and Hermione fly at the key. Like, they're actually doing something. This isn't like a one heroic Harry moment. It isn't just like Harry's like, "Hey guys, just stay down there, I'll get this.
I got this. I'm the youngest seeker in the world. Like, I can do this."
Yeah. It's like, I haven't read the book in so long, or at least this part of the book, that I actually forgot that this is the way it goes in the book, because I just thought in the way the story is told, which is how it is in the movies, is that, like, Ron has the chess match, Hermione has the Devil's Snare / the potions, and Harry has the key and facing Quirrell of Voldemort. But it really isn't like that. Like, had Ron and Hermione with Harry when he got to Quirrell and Voldemort, they would have been helping out too. It was just like...
Yeah. Interestingly, the Lego game, like, you have Ron and Hermione helping you catch the keys.
So the narrative told in the Lego game is closer to the narrative in the books.
It actually is.
So it's the way it says, what it says about heroism is slightly different than the movies. Maybe it's closer to what the book says.
Yeah.
I think through this little narrative, they're portraying who a hero is, and in the movies they're very individualistic, and they rely on their own strengths, and that's a valid argument. But it's different in the books, where the books is like they're heroes, they're working together.
Yeah.
Something that's important to the idea of heroism within the books. And I think that continues throughout the whole series too.
Very, very much.
Yeah. Not so much in the movies.
Not
so much in the movies that have exploding Voldemort pieces.
Yeah. Let's see, and then they move on to the chessmen. That one is more just Ron.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's
which I think is awesome.
Yeah, I think it's.
We don't get enough just Ron.
It's like it's Ron, and it's also teamwork, but it's teamwork in a way that's like, all right, Ron, we're gonna let you lead and we're gonna follow. Instead of just like, hey Ron, you handle this, we're gonna hang out by the sidelines. Have fun.
Yeah, I think it's one of the times when we see like true like leadership in the first book from the trio. Someone
Yeah.
in the trio.
Yeah. I really like Ron right now. Read the second book to prepare for our next set of everything, and I just really like Ron. I forget how much I like Ron because I don't read the books enough. You see the movies and you're like, why does anybody like this guy?
Yeah.
And then you
Ron
read,
is the best.
this guy's the best. Why does nobody appreciate him enough? Yeah. We'll talk more about Ron later, though.
Yeah.
For sure. Um, yeah. So that's all that. Oh, the question before, these aren't in order. The question before this, though, is about the body bind, which
Oh, yeah.
I feel like that. I want to talk about this question because I don't know the answer. Um, the question is, was it ethical of Hermione to put Neville in a full bind, and was there a better option?
I wanted to talk about this one really bad. Because, I don't know. Like, that is super mean.
It's
Full body bind.
it's really bad.
Yeah.
It's not okay.
Mm-mm.
It's not okay, and like uh,
Like, and it wasn't, I don't know, it might have been sort of a little bit kind of not really justified if they were, like, doing it to protect Neville. But still not really. But they weren't. They just did it so that they wouldn't be stopped.
yeah, it's confusing too because I just realized that the images of me are mirrored. That was really distracting for a moment. See, what's going on in the world? um,
But also, they have such a limited spell arsenal as first years.
yeah. I mean, I understand they probably didn't have time to sit there with Neville and be like, okay, listen, Neville, we have very important, serious stuff to do, and like the fate of the world is relying on this, so we really just need you to be okay with this, okay?
Yeah.
Like there was no like they didn't have time to sit there and reason with him, but it's it doesn't make it okay.
No, not. Mm-mm.
Did I didn't put in. Oh, I did write in, for reference, you may want to research and think about various ethical philosophies such as utilitarianism, Kantian ethics, or ethics of care. So, um, under utilitarianism, this is okay, because utilitarianism is basically ends justify the means.
Yeah.
But utilitarianism is also the argument for why Dumbledore was a great guy.
Yeah.
It was okay to raise a little boy to die. And no, I don't.
No.
I cannot get with utilitarianism much. And Kantian ethics would probably say no ways is ethical because the ends never justify the means. So Kantian ethics are like the opposite end of the spectrum, where it's like the if like it's almost like the circumstances don't matter. So if it's ever okay to put somebody in a full body bind, then it's always okay. But if it's never not okay to put somebody in a full body bind, then it's never okay.
Yeah.
Say I would lean towards never okay. Put somebody in a
I
full
would
body.
too.
I mean, and there was no consent, so
Where's the consent hat?
uh, it had an accident.
Oh,
Canada.
oops.
Yeah, it's now the hat. Hello.
Oh, Hello.
Hey guys.
Happy Pi Day.
Happy Pi Day. There's two of me because the mic on my computer is not working apparently. And we decided that it was amusing to have two angles of me.
It is amusing. It is amusing. Happy Pi Day.
Happy Pi Day. I forgot to announce that to the entire internet because they need to know that their Pi Day should be happy.
Ultimate Pi Day, too.
Ultimate.
Not quite the ultimate. The ultimate, well, depends on where you are. So, in the past, it would have been March 14th, 1592. That would have been Ultimate Pi Day.
That would have been Ultimate Pi Day.
In the future, we have, if you write the year first, we have 3,141, and then January, wait, nope.
No.
I can't numbers at once, it's not January. 5, I need a 5. So May, and then the days. May 9 too?
Actually, it would be 3,145.
No, it's 141 because you 1415.
Ah, right.
Anyways.
Okay, Harry Potter, right.
Oh, sorry. This isn't the Nerdcast? I thought this was the Nerdcast.
I would love to talk about math all day, but
we could do that. We could have the math of Harry Potter when we start.
Oh, I could talk about that for a really long time. You don't want to talk about that with me.
I love maths, so. Catherine, for context, when we started this, we said that we were going to start talking about the food of Harry Potter. We were done with social. Gone with food, so. Not actually.
I have the unofficial Harry Potter cookbook, and I love it.
That's pretty cool.
Anyway, we were talking about the
full body bind.
This is where we were. And whether that was ethical. And we just discussed utilitarianism and continence. Utilitarianism says yes, continence says no. Care ethics is more complicated. Care ethics might say, sort of. I don't know. I still don't know. I'm still. Hey, it wasn't okay, but maybe we can understand the circumstances and forgive Hermione, and maybe like, I don't know.
I feel like that's a
Does she go and like legitimately talk to Nipple about it later? Do they go and like?
And that might be something that happens like off screen, so to speak.
Yeah.
I can't imagine that Hermione wouldn't talk to him about it later. I mean, she even apologizes as she's doing it.
Yeah. No, that's like, I'm sorry, but. Which isn't an apology at all.
That's true. She should have said, I'm sorry, and.
Whoa!
Sorry, my phone buzzed and it got excited.
It definitely did.
People should not text me while I'm using my phone. Actually, that was Facebook, but
I feel like we forgive a lot of other people for a lot of way worse things than the full body bind curse.
Yeah, I'm not saying we should like be angry with Hermione for it. It's just a question of like, was that ethical? Which is a different question. There's a difference between was that ethical and is that forgivable?
Mm-hmm.
Because people.
I don't think it was ethical. I do think it was forgivable.
Agreed.
Yeah, I think that's my general feelings on it. And I don't really know what else she could have. I mean, like, not that there wasn't something else she could do. I haven't figured out what else she could have done. There was probably a nicer curse she could have used too.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like full body bind is pretty intense.
Yeah. That's a pretty intense curse to teach a first year. Let's be honest.
Was she taught it or did she read it?
I think she read it because I remember her and Ron like practicing.
Oh, that's true. You know, sometimes I I think they should have been a little more careful about what books they let them have.
You want some more books in the restricted section?
Yeah, actually, I think I would. This is one of those occasions when yes.
More about the restricted section next book. And maybe some books that shouldn't be in the library at all.
Yeah. Maybe some books that should not be published.
That's also true, but I don't know.
Is wizard
Um,
censorship a thing?
I'm
Well,
sure it is.
Like, why do they still have the Care and Keeping of Dragons book when it's been outlawed so long ago?
Maybe it has some... No.
I mean, maybe a student's gonna study that because they wanted to take Bill's job and go work with the dragons.
Yeah.
I mean,
But you would think they would have a lot of training after they leave Hogwarts for that type of job.
I would
but if you're
really hope so.
now,
I don't know.
I think that's a little different though than a book that teaches you how to make a polyjuice potion that turns you into somebody else, which is a lot more questionable than reading about how somebody would care for a dragon. Because reading about how to care for a dragon is very different than instructions on how to make a potion that probably should be illegal. I mean, I'm pretty sure you're impersonating something. But that's the next book, so we can talk more about that next book.
Right. More through the trapdoor.
Yes. So I think we've successfully debated body mind. The other question I had was just about Snape's task, and what significance, if any, there was, in that his task required logic instead of magic. Like, there's no magic involved at all. And it's something that Hermione says that a lot of the greatest wizards don't have, logic. And yet Hermione was the one able to solve the puzzle. It's just interesting because of Snape's background as a Death Eater and racist.
Mm-hmm.
It just makes me wonder about Snape and about, I don't know. I don't know if I have a clear question on this.
Well, they sort of knew, at least Snape knew, like, who they were protecting it against.
Mm-hmm.
And, right, Quirrell had worked there the previous year, but not as the Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher.
And he also didn't have Voldemort on the back of his head at that time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe when they knew, like, he made the task because he knew it would be something that people who would disdain magic, who were the sort, or who would disdain, like, muggledom, would be the sort to go after it, and they would be the sort who would have difficulty with it.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Fred and George would have done really well with this task, even though they don't have disdain for muggledom.
Yeah, but they wouldn't have wanted to find the stone.
Yeah, but I guess I just don't understand how it's like an inherent, like how it inherently has to do with muggledom.
Hermione just comments that something that
yeah, it's just from Hermione's comment.
Don't have logic. Like, logic is not a thing that is, like,
a lot of the
important.
greatest wizards haven't got an ounce of logic. They'd be stuck in here forever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think Dumbledore would be stuck?
I don't
No.
think so.
I think Dumbledore could get through that.
No, I think Dumbledore uses a lot of logic because he does a lot of mastermind planning in general.
Yes.
So yeah.
And he plays the long game.
Yeah, which is very chess-like.
Mhm.
Also,
Yeah.
Ron really has some logic because he's done some chess. So actually, McGonagall's task was also logic.
Hmm.
So maybe Hermione was just wrong.
Yeah.
I would actually argue that there's just as much magic in this as there is in the chess set game. Because in the chess set, they were transfigured to be living, and in this, all of the things that you have to potentially drink from are potions.
Yeah, but doing it requires no magic.
The only magic that was required for the chess set was telling them where to go. If you took away the magic from the chess set, you could have just as easily, like if it were a normal sized chess set, or I guess using all three of them with this size chess set, you could still move them.
Yeah.
Actually,
Yeah.
like, only 2 of those things actually are potions, are magic. I mean, the rest are alcohol and poison. Like, there's a lot of non-magic.
Poisons.
Yes. And
Poisons could be magic, though.
they could be.
But because wizards might be prepared for wizard poison, and you give them muggle poison, and they're like, shoot, I don't know the cure for this thing. I'm dead.
What is this arsenic? Yeah, it's weird to me that Snape's is, like, the least magical, I think. Well, I mean, it's pretty spectacular, like, being able to walk through the fire. Hi there.
Are you hearing me?
Yeah.
What the? Sorry, my thing just told me it was low. I'm making sure it's low.
I thought his thing was very Ravenclaw of him. Like, you know how the Ravenclaw door, instead of a password, it asks you a riddle? Like, to me, it was very Ravenclaw.
Yeah, I found that interesting too. Yeah, it is. I also just sort of liked the idea of Hermione as a Muggle-born being faced with the challenge that uh, the majority, those in power in their culture, would be unable to complete the task, but because of her being a minority, because she's familiar with the Muggle world and probably has relied on logic for most of her life.
Yeah. It's a puzzle she might have been asked to do in school.
Yeah, it's just kind of interesting how the thing that would have been a weakness in that world becomes a strength in this task, which I think is just kind of cool. That her like minority status is a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
In this one instance.
What's interesting though is that's something that, like, if they start at Hogwarts when they're 11, they've had 10 years of Muggle school. So up until this point, they've had, in theory, like very similar schooling to Hermione. So it's possible that any of them could have done a project like this, a puzzle like this in school.
Most of them, like, according to J.K. Rowling at least, like, don't go to Muggle school. They're, like, taught at home or in groups like the Wizard. Yeah. Like, they wouldn't go to Muggle school.
Okay. Well, at least, like, Harry and the other students are Muggle-born, which is why they went to Muggle school. But, like, Harry may have been asked to do a similar puzzle in school.
Yeah.
No idea how to do it. But he had no idea how to do it.
Yeah.
He was like, "Oh, we're dry here."
I was just saying that it's possible that other students have this type of puzzle in their background as well.
Yeah.
And that I don't think that's exclusively because Hermione went to a Muggle school.
don't have anything else to add on this topic. So, I can look through my notes. Anybody else have comments, questions on this chapter?
I don't think I have a lot on this chapter. Anything more? It's really about Quirrell now, and yeah. And we're a little over halfway through the broadcast, so it's probably good to switch chapters.
I do have one note, but I didn't. I have to like pull up information to, and I don't want to. What is this? Oh, one of my questions notes says, "How does McGonagall feel about this conversation in retrospect?" He tells me, and then like, fill out why the stone is safe.
Oh, yeah.
Probably not so great about that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although it really was safe, in her defense. Like, Quirrell never could have gotten it from the mirror.
So, Harry, Ron, and Hermione shouldn't have gone, and Dumbledore shouldn't have been setting them up to go. Basically.
Yeah.
So, Dumbledore needlessly put the lives of 3 11-year-olds in danger.
Good job, Dumbledore.
Sounds about right.
Yep. Kudos, dude.
Skip the other thing I have notes on because it's not formulated into a good question. Okay, then we can move on to the Man with Two Faces. Oh, I've got some feelings on this. You said you had stuff that had to do with Quirrell, Midori?
Oh, I'm betting it's the same as yours. Why is he the only one that has a turban in the whole series?
Gosh, it's so many feels. So... And I tried to find something on the internet from somebody writing about it, and I couldn't find like a really good essay just like explaining clearly like, why is this awful. I mean, we know, but
yeah, like
I did stuff about just discrimination against Sikhs. The Sikhs wear turbans. There's actually recently a Sikh boy who filmed his classmates bullying him on the bus to school and calling him a terrorist, which is not cool at all.
And another thing that's sort of related to not necessarily Quirrell wearing the turban, but I guess inadequate treatment of him is that his death is just like glossed over.
It's just like, yeah, he just kind of goes away. Harry boils his skin. Does Harry kill somebody? Has Harry just committed murder?
That's a good question. Well, I guess it's not really him. It's when Voldemort leaves Quirrell, he dies.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah,
Harry is a little bit complicit in that, but definitely it's not his fault.
But he obviously doesn't feel bad enough about it to see Thestrals.
well, I'm not sure
I'm not sure it's a feeling bad thing.
Yeah, Thestrals isn't feeling bad. It's
comprehension of death, but
he may not, like, he passes out with Quirrell attacking him, so he doesn't actually see Quirrell die.
No.
So
that's true.
He should see Thestrals. He doesn't know Quirrell's dead. When he wakes up, he's like, the stone! Quirrell got the stone! It was Voldemort.
Okay.
So Harry didn't see death.
My understanding that it's not about seeing death, because like Luna
saw her mother die.
Mm-hmm. But she understood it. Like, she understood what it meant for her mother to die. Harry saw his parents die, and he didn't see the Thestrals until much later.
Because he was a baby. He was
Right.
a baby, and I think if Harry had watched Quirrell die then, he might have seen Thestrals.
Right, but as a baby, he had no object permanence, so he was like, "Oh, parents sleeping."
Yeah.
Yeah, what? How many months does object permanence start at?
I think
I
it's
can't.
pretty late. Let's see.
I can't remember right now.
It's permanence age. 7 months. 4 to 7 months.
Well, he was like
So Harry was
15.
definitely old enough.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I
But
don't
I just
either.
don't think that a 1-year-old, like the 1-year-old understands that his parents are gone. He doesn't understand his parents are like what it means to die.
Yeah.
But by the time he gets to Hogwarts, he's had time to understand and think about their death, and he still like doesn't have enough of a grasp on it to see the Thestrals, which I think is interesting.
But
Yeah.
he understands that they're dead, not when they died he understood what was happening. I think that's the difference.
I haven't thought of it that way. Thank you.
So if you witness death with an understanding of what's happening, then you will see the Thestrals.
That makes sense.
At least that's what I've understood from J.K. Rowling and her works. Anyway, that was slightly off topic. So we were trying to talk about Quirrell and turbans and representation. I think one of the things for me is that like there were other ways to have Quirrell share a body with Voldemort besides putting a turban on his head.
Yeah.
So we could have just
Definitely other ways to hide it.
yeah.
He could have worn a cloak.
Yes, he could have.
Or a hipster
Voldemort,
beanie.
yeah, or he could have just had a hat that he wore a lot. He could have had some very strange hairstyle. He could have just had some sort of cloaking spell.
Yeah. Just a wig.
Like, Voldemort did not need to be under a turban. It was a way of making Quirrell stand out, but there were other ways of making him stand out other than
Yeah.
turban. And if we're going to include other characters who had turbans to get knocked out. But like that's the point. The way it's written is J.K. Rowling's trying to make a point with the turban hiding something, whether she's consciously doing that or just unconsciously being racist or religious symbol clothingist. I don't know what the word for that would be. Either way, it's still like really not cool.
Well, and in 1998, is that right?
Yeah.
Wasn't the Gulf War going on then? 1997.
No, because Clinton was in office in 97. The Gulf War was over.
Yeah, that was 1991 to 9. Yeah. Okay, so I wonder what.
The book takes place basically during the Gulf War, though.
Yeah, that's true. 1991. Yeah, then 1992. So that's just an interesting tidbit related to the turban.
Yeah, and doesn't the UK have more problems with like Islamophobia and stuff?
I'm not totally sure on the UK. I know France is really bad. Head coverings are illegal in France.
Wow.
I know that after World War II, the UK was actively trying to dissuade Jewish people from emigrating to the Holy Land. But but I don't know about Islamophobia. I know that there's some like there was religious intolerance going on.
Also, the UK asking or trying to get Jewish people not to
Oh,
leave doesn't
there
mean
we go. It
anti-Semitism.
was the term was actually coined in 1991 as unfound hostility towards Muslims and therefore fear or dislike of all Muslims, in the context of Muslims in the UK and Europe in particular, or the UK in particular and Europe in general.
Yeah. Wikipedia says it entered the common use in 1997. So what came out? Yeah, it's One of those times I'm not happy with J.K. Rowling. Other times I'm not happy with J.K. Rowling when she tries to convince me to Scotland in rugby. Sorry, J.K. Rowling. Yeah, another thing she could have done was have a student who wore a turban, or have another teacher who was considered a good person.
Yeah.
Okay? There were a lot of ways to deal with this that would not have contributed to this idea of people who wear turbans as being evil. Because it's not like Quirrell. It's not like Quirrell's not nice. It's like Quirrell is colluding with Voldemort, like the biggest evil throughout the entire series, basically.
Yeah.
So.
And I think, yeah, that's a really problematic association.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I saw, when I was looking up stuff for this, I saw that there was also people upset about the description of a Sikh character in her new books. Because it's a girl who's described as like looking possibly like a man because she's hairy, apparently. I haven't looked enough into that context, and we're not talking about that book. But there does seem to be some issues here. I'd like to sit down with J.K. Rowling and talk to her about it and be like, all right, Joe, we're going to work on this.
Yeah.
So that's that.
I'm also curious, like, if Quirrell, like, when he taught there before he got Voldemort in his head, was he wearing it then?
Yeah.
He wasn't wearing it at the Leaky Cauldron when Harry met him.
Ooh.
He wasn't?
No, because it specifically mentions when Harry gets to Hogwarts that it's like weird that he's wearing a turban.
I remember there being some sort of conversation about it, but somebody saying, "Oh, he met a vampire," but I didn't know that was after Harry met him, at least.
I'm looking for it.
It doesn't mention Quirrell. It's on page 70 in the paperback in Diagon Alley. Doesn't say anything about him having any headwear or not having any. So I would assume that doesn't mean he has anything, since Diggle's mentioned having a top hat.
Well, and if I can... Yeah, it says on page 122 of the paperback edition, he was looking very peculiar in a large purple turban. Which to me indicates that he wasn't wearing it at the Leaky Cauldron, since Harry finds it so peculiar at this point.
That's more frustrating and more problematic, because then it's like it's associating the turban with now having Voldemort hanging out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That symbolism is so Like, it's literally just saying that wearing a turban you're evil, basically. Which, no. But,
Yeah, that's really bad.
really bad. I didn't realize that was so obvious in the books, that it was, I mean,
Yeah.
not obvious.
It's fairly explicitly said that he wasn't wearing the turban until Voldemort possessed him.
Yep.
Yeah.
Never would have noticed that before. Thank you.
Wow. I feel like this needs, like, a write-up now. I need to... Oh, dear. Okay.
Get to it, Tren.
Yeah. Anyway, the only other question I had was more just general about Harry's conversation with Quirrell/Voldemort and then with Dumbledore. Just kind of because those are introducing us to the values of the series.
Mm-hmm.
And general wondering about what we think of those. Also, I think there's a part where Dumbledore says he won't lie to Harry, and then he lies to Harry. So
Yeah.
says, "I shall not, of course, lie," and then he lies and tells Harry that Snape doesn't like him because his dad saved his life. I would
Which is true-ish.
him because a lot. Because his dad bullied him, because
Yeah.
his dad girl Snape liked, because a lot of things going on. You should not have said you won't lie. Or you should have said... Anyway.
Yeah.
That's not so much justice as it is girl Dumbledore.
I have a question about like what happened when Quirrell tried to kill Harry.
What do you mean with spoiling? Why that happened? Or
I mean, what would have happened to Harry if Quirrell had been able to Avada Kedavra him? Would he have just died? Or would the love spell have protected him? Would he have gone to the King's Cross station but not have been ready for it and gone on with his parents so he could be with them?
I think he would have died. Flat out died.
I think not, though, because I think... Wait, why is he... The reason he doesn't die the first time Voldemort... Well, in the sense, but the first time Voldemort tries to kill him, like, it kills the Horcrux.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Which
he
is
doesn't,
already
like...
there.
But it does kill Harry because Voldemort made part of himself with Harry's blood, so Harry's tied to life as long as Voldemort is.
Oh. So Harry couldn't have had the option. But see, I don't think Voldemort would have wanted to do that, because Voldemort tried that before, and Voldemort's not about to, like, do it again. The Avada Kedavra, Voldemort's like, I'm not sure this is going to work out so well, so I think Voldemort, and I don't think Voldemort would have wanted to do that, because Voldemort wants to kill.
Didn't he like scream, kill him, kill him?
Yeah.
If he had damaged, if he had killed, like, Harry, like, damaged his windpipe, because he was choking him, enough that Harry could not come back to life, that's damaging the vessel irreparably, so the Horcrux would have died.
But would Harry have?
Yes. Because...
Also, it starts out with just telling him to seize him, and then Quirrell's gonna perform a deadly. It's probably Avada Kedavra, but Harry grabs his face. So that's when Voldemort starts screaming, "Kill him!" Voldemort feels that Quirrell's feeling.
Pain, immeasurable pain. And he was giving terrible shrieks.
Was that Quirrell or Voldemort that was shrieking?
Quirrell is shrieking while Voldemort's yelling, "Kill him, kill him." He couldn't see, he could only hear Quirrell's terrible shrieks and Voldemort's yells of "Kill him, kill him."
So I don't think Voldemort was feeling it because he doesn't have like a body to feel yet.
But he's using Quirrell's, and I think the reason that Quirrell is feeling is because Voldemort's there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
if
that's true.
Quirrell had just tried to grab Harry around the throat and Voldemort wasn't in his body, I don't think it would have hurt Quirrell.
No, I'm sure you're right.
Voldemort wasn't there. Quirrell could. He could have gotten the stone if it weren't for Voldemort. Foiled by Voldemort. Voldemort, you foiled your own plans.
Yep.
Bro, come on. um, yeah.
And also, Harry gets points for murdering a teacher.
I don't know if it's, yeah. I don't know if it's points for murdering a teacher so much as like.
I mean, did Harry murder him or did Voldemort?
Voldemort left him to die, but
Yeah, I mean,
Harry did
didn't.
the damage that would kill him.
But we know that Voldemort being in him, like, that damages him because when he like inhabits other creatures, when he leaves them, they die. Like,
Yeah, but he also wasn't damaged to the point of death until after the whole Harry thing happened.
he might have died.
Quirrell also only was in pain because Voldemort was there. If Voldemort had just been like, see ya, then Quirrell would have been cool. Before Harry had boiled him a lot. Well, he might not. Well, actually, would he have died anyway? Like, had Harry not boiled his skin?
I think that's what Dory's saying, is that he would have died because Voldemort was leaving him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think he would have died anyway.
I don't know.
No, he would not have, because he drank unicorn blood.
Yeah.
So maybe he would have lived, but I mean, it would have been terrible, right? But that's not our place to judge whether a terrible life is worth living or not.
The unicorn blood doesn't make him live forever. He had unicorn blood.
Oh, that's right. It keeps you from death. Brings you back from the brink of death.
He's already gonna be dead, but they were having blood.
Just something to think about.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. It's also really rude that that Dumbledore, Voldemort, Dumbledore, same thing, right? No.
Basically.
Whoops. It's really rude that Dumbledore waited until the end of your feast with all those decorations up, and then was like, just. Yeah.
Does anyone else also feel like the last few chapters are kind of rushed?
Super rushed.
Okay. Not just me, then.
Especially the last chapter.
Yeah. See, to me, I just read the rush as, like, that is actually what is happening to time, because it's the end of term and everything's, like, rushing to get done. But, like, maybe you wanted more time, but term was over. You gotta go back to Privet Drive.
And Dumbledore does not cancel exams in the book. Good job, Dumbledore. Way to take their education somewhat seriously.
Oh no, I'm confused because I'm forgetting which book I'm in.
Do we actually see that they have exams?
It's at the beginning of chapter 16. There's mention.
I'm proud of Dumbledore for that.
Yep.
I also, there's a lot of there's not enough time to have a full discussion of this, but I think it'd be great to have a discussion about assessment and testing in the Wizarding world versus Muggle world, and there's lots of different testing in the Muggle world. Just kind of looking at that, but that can be a future discussion. I think it's just about time. So I will tell the internet that next week you will not see any of our faces because we are having a break from series discussion. We will watch the movie and talk about the movie on our own together, but not in a video because that's difficult to live stream and watch a movie. Yeah, so just so you know, internet, 2 weeks from now, no time official yet, we will start talking about Chamber of Secrets. We just keep chugging along through the series. Yeah. So we're gonna cease broadcast. Bye, internet. It was nice.